Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. This is how to get out of a fixer mentality, okay? You might be in this mentality that I need to save everybody, that I need to fix everybody. And this is keeping you in a vicious cycle, in a loop where you are looking externally for validation. You are actually aiming to fix yourself, but you can never really fix yourself. You can only delve deeper and understand that you are a masterpiece and a work in progress at the same time. You are this art piece, you are this painting. If you're listening to me for the first time, gods and goddesses in training, I am Uncle Makara, all relations. And today we're breaking down something that is a deep revelation, which is you are absolutely the best art piece that you could be. And yet you start treating yourself like I should have been that different art piece. You start comparing yourself to other art pieces instead of embracing your own art, your own creation. So the first step in disentangling from this is to understand your own creativity. Your creativity is the antidote and the way out of victimhood. I'm telling you, this is it, okay? Because creativity means problem solving and resourcefulness. It means being level-headed enough to see that there are other options out there, that there's a solution mindset that I can actually chime into and get the solution. If we understood that every problem that we have has a solution, and we put more attention to the solution than the problem, our mind will shift to the solution frequency, and we will attain it. But we first have to understand what kind of person doesn't have those problems anymore. How do I understand myself through a different pair of eyes, a different lens, that I'm not a fixer anymore? That I'm a value giver. I'm not fixing anybody, but I am giving value. I haven't stopped giving value. It's just not giving unsolicited advice. I don't need to do that anymore. I don't need to overgive or people please anymore because I understand myself better. And this deep self-understanding will give you a genuine sense of confidence in this world. Not from all these external materialistic things and you chasing this rat race. You will start to understand that happiness comes from within. It happens through the connections in my life. And the relationship that I have with others is oftentimes the relationship I have to myself. Because they are all fragments of me anyway. They're projections of my state of consciousness. This is really deep because it's also deciding where you are, right? In your own state of consciousness. Like, it's very clear that I needed to be here in this environment with all these cars outside, you know? Honking their horns to test my patience, to make me very self-contained, self-preserving, self-reflective, you know? Not self-preserving, not like I'm clinging to my identity. I'm enjoying being existence itself. And I think that difference is all the difference that you need in order to stop fixing yourself and fixing others, okay? Because things were never broken to begin with. It's just your mindset became broken, and now you feel like something is wrong, something is dirty, something is not right, something needs fulfillment. So when the nature of this reality is emptiness, how are you ever going to be fully filled? You get filled by the Manipura, the city of jewels, with it, because you know that it creates an alchemical treasure inside of you. I'm drinking that ocean of nectar in my heart space. You guys get that? I am recycling it and letting it move me towards my enlightenment. So you aren't Bob the Builder, okay? Stop thinking, yes, we can fix it. Yes, we can. It's nice to be seen as the person who fixes things, right? That person seems to be reliable. But if we are trying to be reliable on reliability and the role of reliability, then we're also trapped in a concept. And we can't unwind ourselves from that concept until we understand that This person needs assistance. They need support. They don't need fixing, right? It's like you yourself, you don't need fixing, okay? You need to be more self-aware. Perhaps you need more encouragement to move and not be so dependable on others for your own sense of motivation, okay? Because the moment you make happiness outside of you, it becomes the carrot and the stick, and then you start chasing happiness rather than actually embracing it. So let me show you guys this. This is something that I drew, okay? This is myself and Ellie. And this is the City of Gold, okay? In this depiction of the City of Gold, I wrote down in the corner here, primordial purity presence. Primordial purity presence. This is a very empowering concept that I got a few days ago. I was just walking out in nature, and I started to understand. There's this primordial purity, this cleanliness that I can chime into and tap into. And once I embellish my mind there, my environment starts to auto-clean itself. I recognize this, you know, and I started to implement it. And so instead of fixing things, why not get people back in touch with that divine essence within them? Why not see them as light? Why not see them as frequency, as wavelength, and understand where to show them their own mirror, their own reflection, to teach as a Heyoka would, using crazy wisdom, using unconventional things at times, right? Like, I don't teach very conventionally, and I think people appreciate that, actually. They appreciate the fact that I'm going a little bit counterculture, that I am going against the grain of what every other psychologist or positive psychologist really stands for. Because I have taken a state of consciousness and rolled with it into a movement, a concept, a framework, a philosophy, right? Primal Sutra means going back to oneness again. As my mom called it the other day, she called it source code. She called it source code. That's badass, right? All the different parts of you, instead of feeling like they are broken and fragmented, make it a habit that through your meditations, you are at least bringing them all together in one shared space in your mind, like the Council of Napoleon Hill. Okay, similar to that. So have all of your spirit guides that you work with in your mind and have them be in the similar room, okay? Maybe one guide helps you with your health, one helps you with your wealth, one helps you with your happiness levels and emotions, one helps you with your sleep, okay, and getting good dreams. So you have these fragmented parts of you in your psyche. Now they can take on demigod form, they can take on maybe more of an asura lens, maybe they can take on more of a neutral hologram kind of astral being lens. It can go according to how you want it and use your own creativity here, which is why I'm saying creativity is the antidote, guys. The more creativity you have, the more you can work with your own mind to create concoctions and ways to alchemize this negativity within you into positivity. So this is why you need creativity as a skill set, okay? It's looking at something old through a fresh perspective. So let me just say, like, if I just look at this Oscar thing, right? I notice if I stare at it for enough time, I start to get ideas, okay? And what's happening here, it's just gold, you know? It's not like some kind of a kaleidoscope, right? But if you notice, in the gold, there's still a reflective quality to it, correct? So there's little bits of my orange that you can see. There's little other ways that you can perceive this. Now this is really interesting because he's ripping his heart open with the laurels, right? And I don't know if you know the terminology, resting on your laurels. It means to be stuck to the past, right? To be stuck to old memories and emotions. So if you're just like opening the past up, you are exposing yourself, right? You're exposing your past. and you're not scared of it any longer. So you're free from the trauma in a sense. So that's how my guides and myself, just looking at this for a few seconds, came up with this analogy and this idea. This creativity flew through this experience of just doing that, right? You could do this with anything. You just take any object, and you just hold it there, and you just see it from different angles, and you just play with it. You allow yourself to experiment with it. And again, your creativity will help you here, okay? So instead of immediately adding a full stop to the experience and concluding something about that experience or circumstance you're in, right? Instead of saying it has to be like this because I've always been like that, boom, full stop. If you're doing that, you're adding a limitation or a wall where there could have been a bridge of experience. If you say, I can't afford it yet, the word yet now creates a bridge so that you can afford it in the future. So words are really powerful, man. They can be used as a bridge or used as a wall. And I want you to use words as bridges that connect rather than create more separation, because we can do that a lot of times with our words, right? Just by establishing myself as a part of some gang, I'm now creating an in-group, out-group with everybody else. So yes, Primal Sutra, my community, is important, but I'm not masquerading around town with a giant, megaphone trying to convert people. I am sitting at the center of my experience, speaking from the purest place possible. So sometimes people need to express themselves just for the sake of expression. And if you come in trying to solve that for somebody else and you say that I understand that, whereas you actually don't because you're not them, you will start to notice the moments where you go into this fixer mentality. It could be that you trust people a lot, or it could be that you have trust issues. One or the other, and it's going to affect the way that you behave, especially in regards to other people. So one of the things to do is to build a self-trust within yourself and start a self-trust practice where you get so good at trusting yourself and you can predict how you're going to behave in certain scenarios and situations that it becomes autopilot for you to not fix things, but to just simply observe them and add value when necessary, right? So not all the time. You can just also observe it. So the idea of self-help, if only it was more associated with creating a winning streak and a momentum rather than just it being self-help, it just being kind of showy, right? You're showing people, I've read so many books, I've listened to so many podcasts. It becomes this weird personal development flex rather than you just living your optimal life. Like, I really think it's very important for people to understand you can't fix nothing. Now, maybe you're a person who fixes things around the home. Maybe you're like a person who, fixes somebody's sink. Did you really fix it, or did you apply your skill set? Okay? You gain the knowledge to do that specific activity of fixing that sink. You get that? And you're being paid for your skill set because it is something that you have gained over time through awareness in training. Okay? So learn to just bring your consciousness and remain conscious throughout your day when you're doing things. When you're eating, understand that you're eating. Stop eating so fast, okay? I've been practicing doing this because I have a habit of eating really fast because that's what I've observed growing up. Like, I would always have things to do, and so I had to eat quickly, right? But that would affect me subconsciously. And nowadays, I'm really taking my time. Now, even just slowing down in the shower, just for a few minutes extra, Usually you just take a quick bath, go in and come out. Just giving yourself that little bit of extra care is really key, is really important actually. Because we don't know how that's gonna affect our energy in the future, you see? That little bit of care and compassion, self-compassion, could have been what we needed in order to remain fixed and in this joyous emptiness that is self-fulfilling and creative, you know? Happiness is dynamic, it's not static. You don't lose it like you lose a wallet, right? It's something that you gotta keep generating and creating and putting out there, okay? And limit the activities that are draining you, okay? Just limit them, okay? You don't have to get rid of them completely, but just limit them. As you start to limit them, you will find your natural rhythm. You will find what works for you. You will know what naturally aligns towards you. You gotta understand what your baseline really is and work with it. It's not about fixing anything. It's about being everything and nothing at the same time. Let's get it. Upward Spiral gang. Thank you so much for tapping in, guys. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. Stay legendary. We'll speak soon, okay? Osa.